Alright guys, a quick one today. I was watching Windrush Wargamers 1 minute conversion video and I thought I would take it as a challenge. I have the perfect model for this. I've got my old Rumil which I filmed and it never made into any video, so I thought I would use this footage. This conversion might not be as relevant these days with the new Rumil model and the new Guards of the Galadrim Court, but at the time there was no official model stocked, so I had to convert my own. This conversion is super simple. All you need is the spare sword arm from the cavalry kit, a plastic shield from the infantry kit, and finally the Guard of the Galadrim Court. They have different poses. The one holding the pike with the two hands is out, as this one will be too difficult. As the sword arm we have is for the right arm, we are going to go with the one holding the pike in the right arm. This will make the conversion much easier. I did originally think of doing something different and giving my Rumil a kind of fencing sword, as elves in the books didn't have curved blades. However, I did end up deciding to go with the cavalry sword, as the armour is already sculpted onto the arm. The first thing we do is cut the sword arm at the elbow. Then give it a little file. I then use my knife to cut the pike arm at the opposite side. You need to be careful with the bottom of the pike as it is attached to the coat, so do be a bit carefuler when pulling it away, unlike myself. As you can see, a little bit of the pike shaft was left at the bottom, so we need to cut this away also. Before giving the arm a little bit of a file. I then make sure enough of the sword arm has been cut away. If not, I keep trimming it a little bit off until it looks correct. Then, as the Guard of the Galadrim Court is fine cast, we need to use super glue to attach the sword arm. I then super glue the shield onto the other arm. Then I don't want to fully paint the model, so I just give it a hand base coat of Abaddon Black on the new sword arm. I then finish off painting the arm in the same manner as my Lothlorien. If you want to check out how I painted up my Galadrim, I do have a video on my channel. I will warn you, it is quite an old video now, however I think some of the techniques in it are quite interesting, including how I get the metallic coloured armour. Just remember there's this tiny bit where the pike was stuck to the coat that we need to fix up. A little bit of red and a little bit of yellow, and no one will notice anything different. And with that, Rumil is done. I know I promised you a couple other ways of doing this, so what I'll do now is show you some other ideas that I had to do this conversion. So for swords, I think the only other acceptable cavalry model would be this one. The other two, the sword hilts go back into the cloaks, making these poses much more difficult to convert. The infantry models are all crappy two-handed poses, or the sword hilt goes back into the cloak like the cavalry models. You could also potentially remove the sword arm from a high elf captain. However, I can't imagine anyone want to part with one of these nice models. Now on to shields. So Games Workshop in their infinite wisdom have only given you half the amount of plastic shields you need, so I can imagine that most people don't have a spare plastic shield on hand. There are two ways around this in my opinion. One requires a bit more effort. You can make press molds with glue stuff. There's plenty of tutorials on YouTube on how to do this. The other option is the lazy way, which is the one I've gone with, and I've done a big order with Guardians of Wiltshire. His catalogue is just incredible. It has like every shield you could think of under the sun, so I highly recommend going and checking that out. I suppose there is a third option, which would be to go into 3D design and print your own. Also, if you want to use one of the new Galadrim Court guards, I think your best bet is this one on the right here. He is holding his pike in his right arm, in exactly the same way as the old style model. His left hand is also down by his side, making it easy enough to add a shield on after. So let me know what you think of this little conversion idea. And of course, go check out Windrush Wargamers, I'll put the link in the description. They have done a super simple mounted Gil-galad. I encourage you all to go try a 1 minute conversion. Thanks for watching everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to give my bell a good old ring. Wow. I've absolutely destroyed all my fingers. Ugh, super glue. Oh, I hate that feeling. Ugh, makes you cringe. So I'm gonna have to. It's just. I hate super glue so much, man. You'd think after 15, 16 years using super glue in the hobby, I'd learn how not to get it on my fingers, but apparently not. So I promised I'd show you some other ways of doing this, so I did promise you some other ways of doing this, so I'll just sew that. Not sure how I've managed this, but I've managed to turn a 1 minute conversion challenge into a 5.5 minute video. How do I talk so much? I need to work on this, man. I need to work on